Well, a bright and wonderful morning to everyone, and we're a little late leaving this year on our motorcycle trip, especially for our big trip at the end of the year, because work had us kind of busy. And then if anybody saw any of the videos on the channel, we went down to the Emmys and won an Emmy for production design as set decorators, which was pretty cool on Shogun. Woo woo. Anyway, it's been pretty exhilarating. We came home, we needed a little more sleep, so we took an extra couple days. And the plan is for this trip, and we'll just see how it goes and ride the wave and where it takes us and whatever adventures we find, especially on the new bike as well, exploring hopefully some back roads. And we're headed off across the border. We're gonna probably ride the 9 to the 2 to Leavensworth today versus going across the Cascades because the weather's just not so great and still unsure about the forest fires that are on the 20. So we're gonna head down that way towards Yakima. And from there, we are gonna venture down through Salt Lake City, Utah, and the Salt Lake Flats, we hope, a little bit of Moab, and towards the Arizona border. And we'll see where it takes us. So we will see you on the road. Jonathan is just pulling his bike out of the garage, and here we are, all geared up to go. On the back sits my full camp bag, and I added these onto the frame really just to take extra water bottles when we get into the desert. This is all our camping gear complete. This is the food, the whole setup. I've kind of added a funky little 1-inch foam under here, and really all that's to do is to protect my bike seat and stop anything from rubbing on the frame. And I can always put it under my shoulders on my sleeping mat if we end up having to make our hammocks into a tent, which, because of where we're going, I think is very much a distinct possibility. And keeping ourselves all zipped up from any critters with our gear in our hammock tents will be definitely the way to go. Anyway, wish us luck, see us on the road, and looking for a very enjoyable ride.
You are my sunshine, let it in, let it in.
What are you feeling about camping tonight?
Oh, super excited.
I love the Lower Cascades route, and fortunately traveling east and south is not an issue going through Monroe, and we also chose to take a couple side detours around the lake, which avoids the towns and traffic on Route 9. We always enjoy a little coffee stop break and a little stretch at this espresso cafe on the Lower Cascade Highway. As we travel along and we are leaving so late in the year, it's a definite thought that these mild weather days could start to change soon in the passes. So we're in constant conversation about a plan B, including that on the way home, which will definitely consist of watching the weather to choose our route and even possibly a U-Haul if winter comes quick this year. Since its transformation from a former railroad and timber town in 1880, Leavensworth almost became a ghost town before its town leaders made a decision to completely renovate the downtown area and create festivals for an authentic Bavarian village that began in 1965. Leavensworth has evolved into a destination of outdoor activities and is a fine example of German architecture and tradition. One of my favorite stores is Kris Kringle, the Christmas store, but since I have very little extra room in the bike, that stop will be on another trip. Today, we will keep riding and cover some ground. The Yakima people were the first known inhabitants of the Yakima Valley, and in 1805 the Lewis and Clark expedition came to this area full of wildlife and rich soil, prompting the settlement of the homesteaders. Yakima is the heart of central Washington, and its economy has always been centered around agriculture. And a very good morning. Here we are. We came down to Yakima last night and we rode down through Yakima Canyon. There was some lovely campsites there, but it just got too late and we were riding into the dark, so we decided to come to a lovely little hotel called the Hotelli, and it's freshly been renovated and it was really nice, especially after a fairly long riding day. Today we're going to head down towards Timber Gulch, and we probably will take 2 days going down just so we can do a nice ride along the Columbia River and a couple little places that we want to see and take our time. So Jonathan's got his Zolio all mapped out for a couple people at home to send breadcrumbs, which is kind of fun to see where we're at, and hopefully we stop and take a few more pictures today, and the sun is out, couldn't be better. The 395 took us through some spectacular country, winding up the mountains and through the countryside, visiting so many small towns along the way. One of the advantages to traveling on a bike is how immersed you are in the ride, affected by everything around you: the sights, the smell, the weather, the road conditions, the lumps and the bumps, and every mile brings something new to the experience. Traveling along the Columbia River, we stopped for a quick break at the Veterans Memorial and went for a walk and a stretch, and we ran into some fellow travelers who had just come up from the south on 395, and they suggested that it was one of their most favorite routes to travel yearly. So we took a look at the map and made some adjustments to our day. The Columbia Gorge is up to 4,000 feet deep and it stretches for over 80 miles. It is just stunning. I wasn't paying quite enough attention as Jonathan pulled out and passed the semi and I got stuck behind, which doesn't make for the best shots, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And I'll just sit here, be patient, and enjoy the view. Every corner brings something new, from the quiet fields, the horses, to the beautiful old farmhouses and buildings, and into the rolling fields of wheat I find so beautiful this time of year. One thing that is a bit of a surprise is the elevation that we've been traveling at. These big farm fields and plateaus are between 3,000 and 4,000 feet as we climb a little higher on this beautiful day. It might be time to look for an early campground as we're passing by these state parks. Finding tree spacing will make for a better night's sleep in the hammocks, though we can always pitch them as a tent if needed. Looks like Jonathan wins, and he's found a spot that works. For tonight, we will put both hammocks under one rain fly, which is fun when it works out, using 3 trees for both hammocks. This campsite has wonderful hot showers and a couple friendly hunting parties that are here for nearby elk. We didn't set up the electric bear fence this night, and we had a couple visitors during the night from local deer. As always, our pelican cooler gets hung high in the tree for bear safety. Enjoy a few shots of the beautiful valley around us. Come along on our next video for part 2 of our trip from BC to Arizona as we travel into Utah and ride the Bonneville Salt Flats. Go ahead and click that like and subscribe, or leave a comment if you've enjoyed this video. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you very soon.